I'm so honored to have Fika Taillon here on this recording with me today. Fika is an amazing poet, poetry leader, and really, as we'll learn here in just a second, a leader on so many fronts. But she has been incredibly brave and willing to translate three of my poems from Ajar into Dari. Fika is based in Ottawa, Canada, and let me just share a little bit about her. She founded and currently directs an initiative called Minds and Hearts Without Borders International. And it is a very active, thoughtful group online. She's also a secular Canadian poet and artist and was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. She has a deep background in the political sciences and education, and she is passionate and a passionate advocate for human rights. Her poems have been published in many, many places and in many, many journals and online sites, and has been broadcast. Those poems have been broadcast on various channels, including the BBC, the National German Broadcasting Networks, and many, many others. So I'm so pleased that she's been able to join us. Fika, as we get started today, would you mind to just, for those of us who may not be as familiar as we should be, would you mind to kind of describe the relationship between Persian, Dari, and Farsi for us?
Absolutely. Hiram, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be with you in this recording today. And just the process of translating the poem was a beautiful process. So I thank you for that opportunity. Farsi or Dari, what people call in Afghanistan, it's a beautiful language, one of the richest languages in the world, as a matter of fact. And so it goes back to thousands of years. As you know, Afghanistan itself has a history of 5,000 to 8,000 years, and so the language is a very well established language in Afghanistan, of course, and then of course it's spoken in other countries like Tajikistan, parts of Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and also in Iran. So the language itself is called Dari. It's the base of the language. It's called Dari. You would find that in the poems of Rumi. You would find that in teachings of Zarathustra or Zoroaster, or you would find it in poems of Nasr Khosrow. These are all philosophers that were born in Balkh, Afghanistan or Afghanistan. And then it evolved into what we call Parsi, which is that Farsi, it's known as Farsi. And then it evolved more into Persian, which is the language that is spoken today in Iran. But Dari by itself is very popular in Afghanistan. The most Dari speaking people are actually located in Afghanistan. As I was talking about Rumi and Nasr Khosrow and Zoroaster, I remembered of one of the poems of Nasr Khosrow. He says, من آنم که در پای خوکان نریزم من این قیمتی در لفظ دری را. The translation would be, I am the one who would not be sacrificing my language. Of course, he uses some metaphor for that. I am the one that would not be sacrificing this beautiful language. This valuable door means valuable pearl of the Dari language. So that is a very famous poem in Afghanistan, Iran, and Tajikistan.
Pearl of language, I love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time and effort. I will also mention that these same poems have been translated into Farsi, so those are also on my website. So why don't we go ahead and dive in? I believe you'll read first the poem titled After All, first in Dari and then in English. So
Sounds good.
please, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. So we are going to read the poem. After all, did you? I'm sorry, Hiram. Did you want me to read the Dari version first?
That would be fine. Whatever's
Or
convenient for you.
whatever that is good. Okay, so we'll go with English and then I'll go to Dari.
Okay, that's fine.
Excellent. After all, for some reason, you think in a different way when you go outside. It doesn't make any difference if you're in the city or far up in the hills. It doesn't matter if there is time or not, or if it's spring or fall or what you have had to eat. When you step outside from being in, even for just a minute, you think of bigger things. Like how to convince someone of what's important after they're gone, or how to get to 300 years from now by hitchhiking, or no matter what kind of moon's up there, how you should strive to become more and more like butter. And now the Dari version. در پایان به دلیلی به گونه‌ای دیگر می‌اندیشی وقتی به بیرون پا می‌گذاری. تفاوتی نمی‌کند اگر در شهر باشی یا در دوردست‌ترین نقاط تپه‌ها. تفاوتی نمی‌کند اگر وقتی مانده باشد یا نه، اگر بهار باشد یا خزان، یا چی برای خوردن داشته ای. وقتی از داخل به بیرون پا می‌گذاری، حتی فقط برای 1 دقیقه به چیزهای بزرگتر فکر می‌کنی. مثلا چگونه کسی را متقاعد کنی که چه مهم است بعد از رفتنشان، یا از چگونه رسیدن به 300 سال بعد از این با دست دادن موترها در مسیر سرک، یا بی تفاوت به این که چگونه ماهتابی در بلندای آسمان میتابد، چگونه باید بکوشی تا بیشتر و بیشتر شبیه به مسکه شوی.
Fika, you read so beautifully, expressively. It could be in any language, and people respond to your voice. But like in Dari, it's especially beautiful how you pace and express. And like I said to begin with, and I'll be saying again, I'm sure, I'm just so very grateful to you for this. The second poem is a love poem. It's titled Clatter, and I'd love to hear you read it, perhaps first in English and then in Dari.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so I have the Dari version right in front of me.
That's fine. Let's read
I
that
start
first.
with Dari, and then
Sure.
yes, then we will go to English.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. I have to tell you, Hiram, I really love this poem.
Thank you.
صدای ظرف‌ها. دوستم داشته باش. دوستم داشته باش. دقیقاً چنان که نادانسته معنا می دهد در بین زمین و هوا. بله، یا آنگونه که گلدسته های باریک و بالاترین نقطه ها سر می افرازند و سپس حتی فراتر از لغزش صابون یا رانش ماهتاب و یا به اندازه‌ای که گودالک های آب می توانند بپرند. عاشق دوست داشتنم باش، همان گونه. عاشقم باش چنان که اگر قول دادنها لبخند می بودند، یا چنان گاهی که تنین صداها تونل‌هایشان را می‌یابند. عاشقم باش همچون پرندگانی که عاشق غوطه زدنند و چرخش، یا چنان که نور خورشید عشق است وقتی با الماری ها مزاح می کند. عاشقم باش و تمام آن شیوه ها و فراتر. و همچنان که کلکین ها بازند، عاشقم باش حالا و آنگاه، همان قدری که وقتی غذای چاش تدارک می شود، با تمام پس و پیش رفتن ها و صدای به هم خوردن ظرف ها، بله، عاشقم باش. و همان اطمینانی که پیاله های چپه خواهند شد، یا آنگاه فراتر با تکامل شب، آنگاه که شنیدن به رویا تبدیل می شود. عاشقم باش همچون چرخش مبهم صدا در تار و پود لاغت. Beautiful poem.
Oh, well, thank you. Beautifully read.
Thank you.
And I'd love to hear you read it in English if you wouldn't mind.
I don't mind at all. I'm just trying to find it. It didn't upload in my computer.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I appreciate your Apucha's interlude there. That was wonderful.
Thank you very much. This was a beautiful poem. I really enjoyed translating this. It involved a lot of emotions. It involved a lot of. I just wanted to make sure that I've got every word that I was translating right for the feelings. So.
Well, maybe after you have a chance to read it in English, we can talk just a little bit about the process that you used to do these translations. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Right, and that was perfect. Yes, I'm still having difficulty finding it.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, it's not a problem if we just want to move on, because the English versions of all these poems will be readily available. So that would be fine. Maybe what we could do is just visit with you for a minute about the process that you used in translating, and what you kind of discovered in doing the translations, about how difficult, or hopefully some enjoyment, and the challenges, but what you discovered in translating them.
Sounds good. as I said, I really enjoy translating these poems, and I think the main reason why it became joyful for me was that I actually got to know you as a person. We talked a little bit, and
Yes.
of course that has a big effect that when you know someone and when you know where the poems come from. So that was the first reason why I became connected to your poetry, of course. And that appreciation led me to really connect to the poems in the way that I wanted them to be really translating was the essence, not only the poem, not only the words, word by word, but the essence of the poem. I wanted for that to come through.
Yes.
So of course, I spent most of the time just playing with the poems in my head. Just I wanted to place myself where you were writing the poetry. So I would say that most of the time that I put on it was really between me and myself and your
Mhm.
poems,
Mhm.
and then I went to my pen and paper and. Um, of course, by then it became the process was very smooth. I knew already where I was. My journey with the poem was already done at that point, so it was a wonderful experience.
Mm.
I did have I can't say problem, but a few challenges on the way.
Mhm.
One was as you and I spoke about it, translating some of the concepts or some of the images
Mhm.
that would be portrayed in English in a different way. But when you want to bring it into another language, you have to play a little bit so it would become um, just as wonderful in that second language. So one of the things that we were talking, if you remember, was the idea of the butter in the moon.
Yes.
When you right,
Yes. Yes.
so yes, that was a little challenging just to bring that. But I think I got that. I think I was able to connect it. And again, when the poems goes to the reader or to the listener, they would have that bridge to connect them from the moon
Mhm.
to the butter. And of course, anytime you read a translation, you need to make that little bit of effort into knowing where the actual poetry, the original poetry comes from. At
Mm.
least that is what I do when I
Mhm.
read translation of the poems. I would like to go back to the original poem, and I would like to put myself back in the culture and get myself familiarized with the poet himself. So I would encourage anyone that listens to this poetry to actually read about you and read about the culture that you come from and read the original poetry. It would just open windows.
Well, as I mentioned, you have just taken such care. I can remember conversations we had about particular phrases, meanings, cultural derivations. I think at one point you even reached out to a friend or two to just double check or to get some additional ideas or thoughts about how some of these phrases would be most appropriately translated. It is not a simple task, if you will, of simply translating word for word. It is a very challenging effort to capture the essence, as you said, and the overall meaning and spirit of the piece. And while I don't write or listen or speak Dari, I trust you implicitly that you have
Thank you.
done just that. Why don't we begin
Thank you.
to come down to the home stretch here? If you have the poem Quiet's Calm available
Sure.
in either Dari or English, love to have you read that before I thank you and we sign off.
Sounds good. We will go to that beautiful poem, Quiet Calm. Um, perfect.
Great.
سکوت ها می آیند. همه بالاست، همه آسمان است، همه بال است و بلندا و صعود. همه بالاست و شاخه ها زمزمه می کنند و صفیرها بلند چسان سکوت ها می آیند. یا ستون های ابرها این دنیای بی تحرک که به سوی آری و باید پرواز می کنند، فراتر از چیخ خواهد شدن و همان آنگاه که بیشتر از پیش تابش را فرا می‌خواند.
The resonance in the sounds, it's just a wonderful chamber of sounds that you've created there, and across culture, it still comes across, especially with the way you present the poem, it comes across as a spot to be quiet and to respect what's being presented. I am so grateful to you for that. Do you have it available readily in English? If so, great. If not, no worries.
Okay, so my internet is not cooperating with me.
No,
my apologies.
No
but
worries.
Definitely we can do another short recording and read the poems in English.
Sure, no worries. Well, Fika, as we kind of begin to wind down, is there anything else that you would like to say about your own work, your journey, anything about this particular effort, just anything for the good of the cause?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Hiram. It's again an honor to have come to know you and to have come to know your work and going through the process of translating these beautiful poems. As you mentioned, I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. I really grew up out of Afghanistan, and I have been in Canada for just about a quarter of a century, which is a very long time. However, I would like to mention at this point that the country that I was born in has had a significant effect in the person that I have become, and in making of things that are very dear to my heart. And of course, with that, humanity and care and passion for having care and passion for humanity altogether and for life altogether is a very, very important part of my life. Of course, my poetry, I started writing poetry very, very early in life. I started about age 5, if not earlier, to write. And it has been a journey, absolutely. It has been a beautiful journey in the way that I connected to myself, in the way that I connected to philosophy of life, philosophy of mind, and again, with that to life altogether. So I would like to take this opportunity and be the voice for the voiceless, be the voice. And of course, you can connect with this so very much with the activities that you have done in the way that you have done much to bring attention to the hunger crisis in the world. And of course, Afghanistan is going through a tragedy right now, as hunger is killing millions and millions of people in Afghanistan and millions of children in Afghanistan right now. So I would like for us to be that voice for the voiceless people of Afghanistan and bring attention when Afghanistan is being brushed under the rugs and there is almost no attention to this tragedy of the century. I would like to for us to be that voice and bring kindness and bring attention of people who listen to us right now.
And we really honor your ability to bring that attention, that focus, that spotlight, and the passion, the heartfulness that you offer, the care you offer, and the intelligence you bring to the cause. I would recommend any and all of Fika's online discussion groups and workshops that she offers. Again, it's Fika Taillon, Taillon, and based in Ottawa, Canada. I think if you just simply Google her, you'll see minds and hearts pop right up. So with
Okay.
that, Fika, I can't thank you enough.
You're very welcome.
I wish you well, and
Thank you.
let's keep going. And I will sign off by saying, here's to poetry.
Thank you very much, Hiram. Just likewise, I appreciate your efforts and the beautiful poems. So,
Thank you.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yourself as well.